Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to introduce you to a very special girl named Aries. Now Aries is a beautiful 14-year-old German Shepherd, and this is not her first time I have groomed her. I actually used to groom Aries when I ran my business before many years ago, and I don't just look at her as a past client of mine, I also look at her as a friend. And in her younger days, while getting pampered here, she was always visited by my boy Lucian. It was love at first sight when Lucian first saw Aries, and she adored him too. Maybe not as much as he adored her, but they were officially boyfriend and girlfriend. And he always knew when she was here, and he would cry to come into the shop to see her. And Aries also used to get very anxious in the crate for drying, and at times would even do kind of like a whimper and cry. And my Lucian would always come in and lay down next to her, and he would try to comfort her through the cage. And after a few times of him doing this with her when she came for her grooming appointments, she actually got more comfortable in there, but he would still always try to get in there with her. He just loved her so much, and their whole relationship was really cute. Now, before anybody comes at me about having dogs around while grooming another dog, the owner had full knowledge of this. They had a relationship. This was the thing. Lucian knew her. She knew him. They even used to run together in the park back in the day. So when her mom messaged me for an appointment since I reopened, I was very excited that I was going to see her again. Hubby was excited too because she was one of our favorite dogs that used to come here. Still is, because she is one of the most sweetest, well-behaved dogs, and you just can't help but fall in love with Aries. And it's funny, when she got here, it almost seemed like she remembered the place, like she actually went to the old door to enter instead of the new one. And the whole grooming with her just felt like two friends catching up. Like, I really missed this dog. Now, since Miss Aries is a senior pup, I wanted to talk a little bit about grooming senior dogs. So many groomers will not work on senior dogs, and I understand why. I mean, it can be very dangerous to work on them. There's a lot more risk in grooming an older dog than when they're younger. Their skin gets thinner as they age, which that can be more dangerous if you're doing like haircuts. They might not be able to stand at all during the groom. Some may also, have issues with like seizures, heart issues. I mean, they could just be snappier in general, which is understandable because when you're old, you get grumpy, things start to hurt. And grooming salons are not equipped to deal with all medical issues. Like, we're really not equipped at all to deal with medical issues. I mean, we've got like first aid stuff, but there's a lot of things that can happen during, a grooming of a senior pup where you would need to be at a veterinarian office, for worst case scenario kind of stuff. And it seems to have become this thing now where many people say like just senior dogs should not be groomed at all. Well, that just isn't true. They still need grooming. Like, their coats still need to be kept healthy. Their hair can still get, compacted or matted. Their nails can get extremely long because they're not able to walk properly on their feet anymore, but so they still need their nail trims, and, they still need to be cleaned. I mean, maybe even more so depending on the dog. Like, if your dog's like having issues soiling itself, they still need to be groomed. I don't know why there's like this myth. Not a myth is not the right word, but there's this like thing now where groomers are just like, no, we don't groom senior dogs at all. It's still needed, but it definitely needs to be done with caution. And the way I handle grooming a senior dog is first knowing their health history. Especially if it's the first time I'm grooming the senior dog, I really want to delve into the dog's medical history so I know what's going on with the dog. And I want to also make sure I have all their veterinarian information, and to make sure that the owner is aware that grooming older dogs can be stressful and difficult on the dog, and to make sure they know that there is a risk of something happening, and that our main goal is to get done what we can for the dog. I always try to offer a break to my senior dogs too if I see that they need it. Some of them don't want it, but taking breaks with them is one thing I do. I also watch their body language as well as their breathing, trying to make sure that there's no signs of extra stress besides of, just the stress of being groomed in your old age, But, I also don't force them to stand the whole time. And in Aries' case, she can't stand very well anymore at all because she has hip dysplasia. So she was laying down the whole time during the bath and almost the whole time during the drying. I only lifted her when I absolutely needed to stand her up on her back legs. And I was making sure I was like fully supporting her weight on my arm as I held her up because I knew she couldn't do it. And you can still fully groom a dog as they're lying down or if they're lying on their side. It might not be perfect, but I mean, it can be done. And, as you can see in this video, everything I'm doing with her, she's lying down. Her toenails, shaving out her paw pads, brushing her out. Again, I only stood her up when I absolutely needed to because I know she was happy laying in the position she was in. It's not always going to be perfect for senior dogs. You're going more for, the health of the dog, like getting the dog's coat healthier and just making sure that they're as clean and as well maintained as possible, if that makes sense. And I also try to make sure, I've got some slip mats for them and, I've got things for them to walk on so they're not slipping. And I try to get the groom done as quick as possible too for them, because I know not all senior dogs can actually sit through a full groom. And if your pup can't do a full groom, you can do a little bit at a time, like do your grooming in sessions with your groomer, like, maybe just do a bath at one session and try to get the haircut. It might not be the best haircut because you're not getting that bath done beforehand, but small sessions is a good way to get your senior dog through a grooming too. But if you do have a senior dog, I would definitely talk to your groomer, and discuss, doing smaller sessions or voice your concerns with them. Definitely keep them up to date on the medical history. I think that a lot of groomers have a huge fear now of grooming senior dogs. I mean, you do have to have some experience with them and kind of know what to watch out for. But if your groomer does tell you need to go to like another groomer at a veterinary practice, they might be saying that for a reason, because maybe they are that concerned that the dog would potentially need medical care after a groom. It depends, because senior dogs can get very hyped up and they can start freaking out, really uncontrollably sometimes. It could be senility kicking in. There's all sorts of things. But Aries did absolutely amazing for me, and she was such a trooper, and she still is very alert for her age. And she had so much dead hair that needed to come out of her back end. Like, she was very compacted back there, which surprised me because I know her mom took her to a groomer 2 weeks prior. She didn't know I was reopening at the time she took her to the other one. But, I filled up a whole garbage can of hair alone, and I'm not sure why the last place didn't get all that undercoat out. Like, it was very compacted, full of a lot of dead skin cells. And I don't know. She did so well for the grooming, just like she always did. Like, I don't understand why it wasn't done properly. I can say she gave me a little sass with her front feet, especially her left front paw. And I think that it could have just be like maybe arthritis or something, but little sass, not much though. Again, I'm not sure if the previous groomer just didn't have time or was too scared to work on her, or I'm not sure what happened at the previous groomer, but she did amazing. And I felt very honored that I was able to groom her again. And I really enjoyed just like reminiscing with her and, telling her how much Lucian loved her. And I'm not going to talk anymore about this because I've already shed many tears seeing her again and, just remembering a lot of good memories, But I hope you guys enjoyed this video of the beautiful Miss Aries and also a little bit about, senior dog grooming care. And if you did like this video, please remember to click like, subscribe, all the buttons, and we will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.